Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean, and I'm going to talk today about the situation with Kell, Brook, and Amir Khan. Negotiations have fallen through, apparently. Can't say I'm particularly surprised by that. I made a video a couple of weeks ago saying that I didn't think Amir Khan was interested in making a fight. I thought it was all a bit of a sort of smokescreen. Nothing that he's done in the past led me to believe that he would have wanted to fight. So I think it was pretty obvious that it was never going to happen, especially not at the first time. I mean, not right now. He's basically priced himself out. He's asking for 70% of the money, which is a joke, really. I don't see where that comes from. Amir Khan has had a very good career, and he's done a lot in his career, but pretty much all of it is quite a long time ago. He's at welterweight. He's done nothing really. He's had a couple of like half decent wins, a closely fought fight with Chris Algieri. He beat Devon Alexander, good performance, but do you know what I mean? It's hardly the most spectacular, impressive performance that we've ever seen, or win that we've ever seen, should I say. Apart from that, what was he really done? He's done a lot of light welterweight. He's very good there. And before that as well. So I'm not knocking what he's done in his career, but I'm talking about right now and for the last few years, really. So I don't really get where all this like big sort of A side comes from. He hasn't fought in Britain since the Julio Diaz fight. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that fight wasn't even sold out, was it? I mean, it certainly wasn't a big fight. So that tells me that his kind of status within British boxing isn't particularly big. Well, certainly not like what it used to be. So, you've got to look at it like that. You've got to look at the fact that this fight is only big in Britain. So Amir Khan can say, oh yeah, more people know who I am in America. Yeah, they do, but it's not a big fight in America. It's a big fight in Britain. Now, it's a big fight because of both of them. Now, Kell Brook is the champion. He's just his last fight was in front of like a sellout at the O2 on pay-per-view against Golovkin. He did a lot better in that fight than Amir Khan did against Canelo. He's also been selling out regularly in Britain, been defending his title. He's considered as one of the best welterweights. Amir Khan isn't considered one of the best welterweights. He hasn't beaten anyone at welterweight. Doesn't really bring that much to the table. So, he can say that he's a bigger name. Yeah, he probably is. I mean, for example, if I said to my mum, "Do you know who Kell Brook is?" She probably wouldn't. But if I said to her, "Do you know Amir Khan?" then there's a bigger chance that she would know the name Amir Khan. But she couldn't tell you anything about it. I mean, is that going to translate into her thinking, "Oh yeah, I really want to like pay for Amir Khan pay-per-view"? Do you know what I mean? The fact that a few in this irrelevant kind of people. It's not a nice way to talk about your mother, but you know what I mean? In this context, people who don't really have any relevance to boxing know your name. I mean, what good is that, really? It might do something in terms of, like, generating a bit of interest, but, to suggest that he deserves 70-30, having, not done anything for years, not having a belt, not having fought in Britain for years, being knocked out various times, being the massive underdog in the fight, it's just laughable. It's obviously pricing yourself out. Personally, I don't really care. I'm not that interested in seeing the fight. Now, Amir Khan has kind of got on my nerves a little bit recently with the stuff that he's been saying, the way he's been behaving. But generally speaking, I have been a fan of Amir Khan. I have been a supporter of Amir Khan. And I do think that he used to get quite a lot of stick, really, when he didn't really deserve it. I mean, especially at the start of his career. And a lot of that was pretty questionable. Do you know what I mean? At the start of his career. Since then, he's kind of become his own worst enemy. He's got a big mouth. He's become a bit of a laughing stock, really. Known for getting knocked out, known for just sort of talking about stuff he's going to do, known for being quite deluded. I don't go too hard on him, but it is what it is. That is the perception people have of him. Do I agree with that? Yeah, to a certain extent, I do. I do like Amir Khan on a personal level. I think he's a good bloke. And I respect what he's done in his career, but right now he's not in any position to be calling the shots and telling everyone he wants a 70-30 split, especially when it's obvious that he's avoided this fight for a long time. So, it is what it is. Personally, I'm not that interested in the fight. The only reason why I kind of would like to see it is just when he talks a lot. He talks about what he's going to do. Now, if you're going to start talking, saying you're going to do this, saying you're going to do that, kind of trying to belittle people, then back it up. If you're not prepared to back it up, shut up. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. Don't go around talking about stuff you're going to do if you've got no intention of doing it. That's the only reason why I've got any interest in seeing the fight. I don't see it as being competitive. I think Kell Brook knocks him out within 6 rounds. So, with that, I don't particularly want to see Amir Khan just get knocked out again. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's, to me, the obvious thing that's going to happen. So, personally, yeah, I'm not that disappointed. I just think, just humble yourself, mate. If you're not prepared to back up your words, just don't do it. It's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? I don't go around saying, I could basically beat the shit out of Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to do it. Like, I could do, but I'm not going to because, X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean? Just so that's the only reason why it's of any interest to me. I know, like in kind of mainstream, sort of casual sports fans, I suppose in general, you could say would be interested in it. I can definitely understand why Kell Brook wants to do it. First, he doesn't like him, and secondly, it's loads and loads of money, which obviously that's what everybody wants to earn money, don't they? As a fan, and from a sporting perspective, it doesn't particularly interest me. So hopefully, from my perspective, we can either just put this behind us. There's much better fights I'd like to see Kell Brook in than Amir Khan. Errol Spence is the manager. I'd much rather see that fight than Amir Khan. Now, I understand for Kell Brook, it's kind of a bit annoying for him that he's going to, instead of like fighting Amir Khan, somebody he hates, for like £10 million or £5 million or whatever he's going to, 7 million, he's going to have to fight Errol Spence for like what? I don't know, 750 grand or whatever. So from his point of view, it's obviously not as attractive. But from my point of view, it's a lot more attractive. I'd much rather see him fight Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. These are the fights I want to see Kell Brook in. So, I mean, Amir Khan, to be honest, what is there really for him? I mean, I don't really see. I mean, he's saying that like, he's got loads of options and Kell Brook doesn't. I mean, that's just total nonsense, mate. Everybody would like to see Kell Brook against Keith Thurman. Who wants to see Amir Khan against Keith Thurman, really? I mean, we'd watch it, but who would you prefer to see? Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, or Amir Khan, Keith Thurman? Do you want to see a Danny Garcia rematch with Amir Khan, or would you prefer to see Kell Brook fight Danny Garcia? Do you know what I mean? Would you prefer to see Kell Brook, Errol Spence, or Amir Khan, Errol Spence? Going up, Kell Brook can fight Canelo, for example, whatever weight he's going to end up at. But there's lots of fights that, not just me, people want to see Kell Brook in. Amir Khan, I don't really see what he can do really now. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's quite small, really, for like in terms of his frame, for the way, and he's got all the skill in the world, but he just isn't tough enough to fight people like Brook, Thurman, Spence, Sean Porter. I don't really think that they're good fights for him. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see. So what else is he going to do? Going to find another kind of Chris Algieri or another, Devon Alexander to fight? Yeah, maybe, but it's not that interesting to the boxing public at large, in my opinion. So yeah, so this fight isn't going to happen. Not a bad thing, in my opinion. Hopefully he can get the fight made with this Spence character, as he calls him, and then after that, I don't know what I mean. It depends on the weight really, because that's obviously going to be a problem for him. I think that's what kind of he's held on to. He didn't want to give up his belt, but he's obviously going to really have to struggle to make 147. So I think for him now to have to kind of do that to fight Errol Spence, which is a very tough fight for not that much money, it's kind of like he doesn't really need it. But this is a sport. I mean, this is a sport. It's not just about everything has to be perfect. I'm gonna make a load of money. Sport. Everybody wants you to see this fight. This is a mandatory challenger. You fought a couple of mandatories before. That's obviously been exaggerated by people at large, but still, it is true. You have fought a couple of mandatories. So in the current situation, you said you were going to keep your title, so we want to see this fight. That's what I want to see. And after that, depending on how he feels, really, I mean, I'd obviously like to see him fight Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia, the winner of that, or Manny Pacquiao. But then he'll be a bit older still, so potentially even harder to make it back down to 147. But yeah, the fight I want to see next for Kell Brook is Errol Spence, Amir Khan. I don't really know. I mean, good luck to him, but I don't really see possibly a Danny Garcia rematch, maybe. But after that, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think about it. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.